That's the coolest little thing I've ever seen. That spider's been mummified. Yeah, wow. It's got like a fungus. Alright, y'all. I'm going to try to do a video for y'all today because I personally was feeling a bit discouraged. Wintertime's coming. A lot of leaves on the ground. And if y'all are discouraged, just do me a favor. Get out and hike. Try to make sure that you stay in the routine. Even though there isn't a whole lot of mushrooms out there, or a whole lot of forageable things at the moment, at least in the Northeast here for quite a few months, just try to get out. Stay motivated, and you'll keep finding things. So let's go see what we can find. Still some out here. They're just few and far between. Oh yeah, look at that one. Nice. Nice. Beautiful. That is a beautiful head. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, look at that. Gorgeous. Spores are itty bitty. Nice. Yeah, that's beautiful, y'all. Nice, decent head in the woods. And that's not even huge. And that is a few pounds. Jellies. Sometime this winter, I'm hoping to do a ice fishing video, which I've never ice fished before. I'm gonna go up northern Maine and try to catch my first ice fishing fish. I fished in Florida, but it's been over a decade since I fished last. Should be interesting. And I'm gonna be scheduling a video where I go off chaga hunting and camping for a night. So I'm waiting for an order make sure it's worth it, because I do not come home and just sit on a lot of chaga. But there's certain places, especially here in Maine, that I can collect quite a few pounds in just a small amount of time, or just a small area at least. I do have to usually climb trees and harvest from really high, but I always go ahead of the people who go in and harvest all the trees. So it rained last night and the night before and the night before. It has just been going and going. Everything's so much more wet than it really ever has been here this year. But it's also supposed to be 33 here in Augusta, and then 32-ish south of here. Next year should be phenomenal. If y'all were able to stick around for this year, that I feel bad for anybody who started foraging last year, because at least with mushrooms, it's not like that normally. That was a super year, and this year here in Maine, the mushrooms seem tired. Even my flushes that I had this year, they just had no energy. Nothing was extra. But that's probably because last year was so absurdly good. I would definitely enjoy doing some other style videos. Next year, I'm going to be foraging with a lot smarter folks than myself. So there's going to be a lot of other learning experiences with other than just mushrooms. I do hope the season starts a little early for me. Hopefully I can get in and get to the south, at least of where I am here, and start foraging a couple months earlier in the season, because things do not start until quite a bit later up here. But yeah, I see a lot of jellies. They're all, and those are usually the ones that are last. All right there, all right there. Those are, when those start coming out, that tells me it is getting towards the end. I do usually find hedgehogs this time of year, though. Oddly enough, even the hedgies are having an issue. Well, hopefully you all enjoyed the content this year. And I do appreciate anybody who decided to subscribe because they wanted to see more. I appreciate your confidence in me. This has been my first season of any kind of film. I took pictures, but I did not record any kind of video, especially not myself talking. Pretty interesting. I wonder if I can get this one out. Let's see. Oh, there it is. That's the truffle it grows on. False truffle. And then there's your cordyceps. Pretty cool. I've actually walked by this spot for years and only seen a hole. I've never seen it wet enough in the reservoir up the way that actually pushes it up. That's really interesting. Bubbly, bubbly. So as bad as this foraging year's been, for mushrooms. I look at it in the long run, it should all even out. Hopefully next year they'll actually have a lot more energy, because this year it did not exert a lot. Really, any of them did not. Last year was the first good year for rain in a long time here in Maine. It actually brought us out of drought. Then we had a wet spring, and it just turned so dry there was just nothing. There's no chance of anything fruiting. The stresses of it, probably. Mushrooms are intelligent. Fungus is intelligent. It makes sure it's going to do what it needs to do to survive. And if it needs to save those nutrients inside of a log for next year, just to try to survive, that's what it will do. So we'll see. We'll see how the next years go. But I think it always works itself out. The bad years always... Whoa! The bad years seem to always follow by decent years at least. Even though I have heard from multiple foragers who've been foraging here in Maine for a lot longer than me, and they say that nobody's really seen a good year except for maybe my first year, which I got a motherload of black trumpets that year. Just didn't even know what to do with them. Ended up just dehydrating them. Gonna try to get out and get a little better content other than foraging this winter. The one thing I can say is, when it comes to health, if we use this off time to get healthier, we have a greater ability to find those mushrooms next year, because we're able to do a little bit more, possibly walk an extra mile, or for me, I'm hoping to get up to 10 miles a day. I can double, round about double what I'm doing now. Be good. But yeah, this year is coming to a close, folks. So if anybody, either here in Maine or on the East Coast, preferably the Northeast, have some foraging abilities that they would like to put on my channel, I would be very happy to film. Knowledge is power. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, it probably is not a bad idea to have a little bit of extra knowledge. That way we don't have all our power taken from us. We need to be able to be self-sufficient. And I do believe that these YouTube channels that are out, really all of them that put any kind of information on there that people can use, it's just so important. Because when things get bad, this is going to be the information people go to try to find out, well, what's in the woods? What can I find? I'm hoping to work on go fishing in Michigan and Indiana, or Indiana next year. Going and doing a whole lot of bucket list items for myself would be pretty interesting. It might not be foraging, but when there's no foraging, we have to do something. And after a year like this, I'm sure that just straight foragers of the past had to revert back to getting extra food in different places, because year after year things are not consistent. Everything's a wave. Nothing is linear. So it looks like today found a couple interesting mushrooms and a hen of the woods. So that's not a total washout of a day. So just remember, y'all, the way you look at it, even if you come out and do get skunked, a bad day in the woods is always better than even a good day at the office. So never try to get discouraged. Always try to enjoy the moment, because it's amazing when you get strained and stressed about not finding stuff, how it actually keeps you from finding more mushrooms or more forageable food. So just try not to focus too hard on it. The more you do it, the more you'll see it. You just have to have confidence in yourself. I'm out for the day. Till next time. Peace.